Yeah, good.
Hello.
Hi, gents. How are you?
How you doing? You
Nice
right?
to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Very, my heart's going a million miles a minute.
Why?
Because of you.
Yeah,
You're like one of my heroes.
It'll slow down.
It'll slow down.
It'll stop and you'll
go to
collapse
sleep.
and fall off your chair and fart and be totally disappointed. There you
Maybe.
go.
We'll
That's
find
my
out.
prediction. Looking into my crystal ball.
Cool. Guys, congratulations on the film.
Thank you very much.
Really, really good. I'm a huge fan of Scott Cooper as a filmmaker anyway, but I think he's very smart in this cold environment that you guys in, that he just goes out and casts a hell of a lot of Brits because
Yeah.
we're used to the cold, so you guys won't complain.
That's why you think it was, yeah. No, it's probably a good reason. I know that it also was because of the language. That's what he said to me, because we were putting this together for a long time, and he kept on meeting with English actors, and he was like, they really get the language, you know. Yeah.
I know you've worked with a lot of amazing people in your career, whether it was Heath, and in Amsterdam you had a plethora of people. Harry is someone that has...
And he's right up there. He's
and
absolutely
I've
fantastic.
heard lots of good things about him. What made him perfect for this role for you and Scott?
Scott first sent me this. It's got to be almost 10 years ago now. And, we were just sort of thinking, all right, we'll do it one day. And then Scott was sharing the different tapes, when people put themselves on tape very generously, and sent me Harry's tape. And I sat and watched that and called Scott and went, he's it, right? That's it. For me, that's it. We're done. And he went, yep, I feel the same way. So we were like, oh, okay, that's it. And after that, every time I was reading the book or going through the script, it just was his mug, there, as Poe for me. Yeah.
That's a nice thing to hear. That
It's a lovely thing
your
to
ugly
say.
mug, well not ugly, but you didn't say ugly, but
thanks.
your mug,
Yeah.
as he's reading these books. This
Yeah.
is a really complex role. You must have been delighted to be able to take this on, because there's so many levels to Poe that we know about and what we don't know about.
Absolutely. It was a real opportunity to really investigate this character. And, like you say, quite a complicated character. He's working on so many different levels. And there's so much material as well to read and to sort of look into Poe's life. And also to play with the idea that, yes, a lot of people have this idea of who Poe is, and actually what was he before he became that. And that was an interesting territory to explore.
You could quite easily call it Poe Begins.
Poe Begins.
I feel like that's something you could be doing. But
that was what it all came from. Louis Bayard. I asked him
Yeah.
that, who wrote Pale Blue Eye, the book. He said that, it was just he's a big Poe fan, and he thought, how did he become who he became?
Yeah.
And that's where it was stemmed from. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see him keep playing Poe, right? Keep doing the older Poe, and see after that, that'd be a hell of a film as well.
Up for that? Up for more?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of stuff to explore with him, so
yeah.
I'd say do it. Just do it. It's fine. Plus, sequels are always lucrative, right? keep you in trousers for a while. Yeah. There's a fantastic ensemble in this as well. Gillian, Lucy, you've got people like Toby Jones, Robert Duvall's in there, Timothy Spall. Must be great to go to work every day and not just to be around these people that are so big in the industry, but just to learn from and just to be around and to just spend some time with them, because it's an extraordinary little cast.
We got really lucky with who Scott was able to cast. Absolutely brilliant actors, and of course, you go and you work with these people and you find wonderful things and you get great films from it.
This has been a very strong year for films, and obviously there's a lot of talk about...
Do you feel so? That's
yeah. There's obviously a lot of talk about box office and streaming and everything else. I feel like cinema there's been, especially in the last few months, a real plethora of fantastic films. Have you guys... I know as actors you don't get to always see a lot of films, but have you seen anything this year that's kind of giving you a bit more juice to yes, the industry is going in the right place, and the filmmakers and the storytellers are there?
I have to confess, I'm a little bit myopic and oblivious to what is going on in the film world right now. And also because I ended up making 3 films in 1 year. Nobody needs that, and so I haven't actually seen a lot, but I'm going to take a bit of time off, and I will catch up on these films that you're talking about. But that sounds very hopeful. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, although I think everyone this year is a bit obsessed with Top Gun Maverick. That seems to be the...
Oh, is that the... I haven't seen that,
the big blockbuster this year, isn't it? But also, I think because Tom Cruise is a storyteller himself, he's put so much into these films, and it's made so much money that seems to be that. But it seems to be that there's a lot of amazing films this year. Get out. There's a lot to see. If you get those screeners, part of your guilds, there's lots of plethora of stuff for you to watch. Guys, thanks so much for your time. Absolute pleasure to meet you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Pleasure to meet you both.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey, you guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey, you